All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going on a pretty profound journey, but not to some distant star or forgotten land. Nope, we're going deep into the very architecture of you. We're going to unpack a mystical secret that's been hiding in plain sight. The idea that the person you think you are is actually two people, perfectly intertwined. One you can see, and one you are.
So I want you to start with this question. Just really let it sink in for a second. What if this body, this face, this whole collection of thoughts and feelings you call me, what if it's just a temporary expression, kind of like a piece of clothing you wear for a while? And what if your true identity, your real essence, is actually an unchanging, luminous blueprint that exists in a higher dimension, totally untouched by time? That's really the heart of what we're digging into today. First, we'll look at the body as a garment. Then, we'll meet the luminous blueprint that it comes from. We're going to use some cool modern analogies, think code and video game avatars, to make it super clear. Then we'll get into the mystical mechanics of it all before we land on the most important part, how you can actually align these two selves. Okay, let's begin with our feet on the ground, so to speak. Section 1, your body, the garment. We're kicking things off with the tangible, the physical form we live in every single day. But we're going to look at it through a completely different lens.
So let's talk about our physical self. I mean, really think about it. Your body is always constantly in flux. The cells you had 7 years ago, almost all of them are gone. You're subject to time, to change, to aging. Well, the mystics of the Zohar had this beautiful, precise term for it, Levush, which literally means garment or clothing. They got it. They understood that our form in this world of action, the world of Asiya, isn't our essential self. It's a vehicle. The skin and flesh, the Or Uvasar, are constantly being renewed, just like a piece of clothing that's always being mended and replaced. It's basically the uniform we wear for our mission down here. And look, this is not just some nice metaphor. It's a foundational concept. Check out this quote. It's straight from the Zohar. It doesn't say the body is like a garment. It says the body is the garment of Adam. And it connects this idea directly to that verse from the book of Job. You have clothed me with skin and flesh. This is the essential insight right here. The spirit, the true Adam, is the one being, and the body is what it wears. This one distinction, it's the key that unlocks absolutely everything else we're going to talk about.
Okay, so if the body is just the garment, then who or what is the one wearing it? Let's move to our next section and see how this all builds. We're going to leave the physical behind for just a moment and go up to meet our other half, the luminous blueprint above.
So in total contrast to that change in garment down below, there is this second form above. This is our spiritual archetype, the Adam Elyon, or the supernal man. And this form is everything our physical body is not. It's stable, it's constant, it has what's called a kiyum tamidi, which means an eternal existence. It doesn't age or decay because it exists completely outside of time. It's not made of matter, it's composed of pure spiritual lights, or orot. And this isn't some vague ghostly copy of you. It's the master blueprint, the original design where your soul root comes from.
And this chart just illustrates that core duality perfectly. On the left, you've got the form below, which the Kabbalists called the Torah. Think of it like an imprint or a drawing. It's dynamic, it's changing, it's a garment of flesh that's bound by time. It's a projection. But then on the right, you have the form above, the Dukna. This is the original portrait, the true likeness. It's stable, constant, an archetype of pure light. It's eternal. It is the source. See, they aren't two separate beings. They're two sides of a single unified self. One is the source, and the other is its dynamic reflection in our world.
Now I get it. This can all sound really abstract. A spiritual blueprint? An imprint in time? Right. So to make this ancient secret totally click, let's bring it right into the 21st century. This next section is all about using some modern analogies that, honestly, perfectly capture this relationship between the Dukna and the Tsiura.
Okay, our first analogy comes straight from the world of tech and software development. For a minute, I want you to think of yourself not just as a person, but as an incredibly complex and sophisticated piece of, well, cosmic engineering.
Just look at this comparison. Your below self, your Zoar. It's like the user interface, the UI of an app. It's the dynamic display. Your mood, your health, your appearance, these are all states that change from moment to moment. It's the part you interact with every day. But what's running the whole show? Well, that's the backend code, and that's your above self, your Dukna. It's the immutable source code, the core architecture that's totally stable, persistent, and unchanging. The UI can glitch, it can get updated, it can look different on different days, but the fundamental code that defines its existence, that stays constant.
You're a living interface powered by an eternal backend.
Now, if the software analogy doesn't quite work for you, let's try another one that might be even more intuitive for a lot of us. Let's think about this lifetime as just an incredibly immersive video game.
So in this game, your below self is your customizable avatar, right? You can change its clothes, its skills, its stats, its health bar goes up and down, it gains experience, and changes over the course of the game. That's your Zohar. But what about your above self, your Dyukna? Well, that's the character blueprint. It's the core, unchangeable character file that's saved permanently on the cosmic server. It doesn't matter how many times you change your avatar's armor or hairstyle, that core data file defining the character stays exactly the same. Your physical life is the avatar playing the game. Your supernal soul is the permanent profile that can never, ever be deleted.
Okay, so with those analogies locked in our minds, we're ready to dive back into the authentic, mystical mechanics of this. We have a shared language now to understand the Dyukna and Zohar. So let's explore the deep physics of how this mirror of worlds actually works.
Let's get a formal definition for our terms. The Dyukna. As we've established, this is the supernal form. And it's not just some copy, it is the source. It's the spiritual archetype, the master blueprint, existing up in the higher worlds completely beyond our concepts of time and space. The crucial takeaway here is this. This is the root of your being. It's the true, stable, eternal you.
And then, in contrast, you have the Zoar. This is the earthly imprint. It is the projection, the reflection, the physical manifestation of that Dyukna right here in our world. And because it exists in our world, it is subject to Shinui, which is change, and Zman, which is time. It's the dynamic shadow cast by an eternal light.
So how does this projection even work? Well, it's not a simple one-to-one mirror. The sources describe this great chain of being, a sequence of spiritual worlds known by the acronym ABIA. That's Absolute, Beriah, Yetzirah, and Asiya. Our physical world, Asiya, is the very last link in that chain. Each world acts as a kind of garment for the one above it. So our Zohar, our form down here, gets its life force and its pattern from the Dyukna way up top. But that spiritual light gets filtered down through all these layers, these worlds. This creates what the Zohar calls a Torah b'go Torah, a form that's cloaked within another form.
And this brings us to the most important part of our whole journey. So what? Why does knowing about the Dyukna and the Zohar actually matter in our day-to-day lives? The answer is everything. This final section is all about the purpose of the journey, aligning your two selves.
Here it is. This is the whole ball game. The entire purpose of our existence, according to this wisdom, is to refine our physical self, our actions, our thoughts, our character, to such a high degree that the garment of the body becomes transparent. The goal is to stop concealing the light of our supernal soul and instead become a perfect, crystal-clear channel for it to shine right into this world.
So how do we actually do this? Well, it's really a four-step process. First, you have to acknowledge the duality. Just knowing and internalizing that you are both the garment and the blueprint is a massive first step. Second, you purify the garment. And this is done by elevating our physical actions, turning mundane acts into holy ones through spiritual practice, what the sources called Torah and mitzvah. Third, you have to consciously refine the imprint. Every single choice you make either aligns your Zohar more closely with its Dyukna, which makes the reflection clearer, or it misaligns it, making it more cloudy and opaque. Finally, the result of all this work is that you become a clear channel. You transform the body from something that hides your soul's light into a perfect lens that focuses and radiates its essence out into the world.
Now I want to end this section with this stunningly beautiful quote from the Sefer Avodat HaKodesh. For a form is in the likeness of a form, and this is called Adam, and that is called Adam, and each is included in the other. It just perfectly captures the unity of this whole duality. You're not a body with a soul, or a soul trapped in a body. The earthly you is contained within the eternal you as its source, and the eternal you is contained within the earthly you as its ultimate purpose. They're one.
So we'll leave you with this to really think about. If every single action you take today could either polish or smudge the mirror that connects you to your eternal self, what would you do differently? Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Pardes. We hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week. If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.